Hello, figure collectors. I got a couple of used toys here I was lucky enough to find here in my local region. And these are monthly specials from Kodansha, I guess. Kodansha owns the Attack on Titans franchise. And they had these volumes where it would be like a box and it'd be a magazine inside and there'd be an action figure inside. And you can combine all 12 of them into this giant diorama. I've seen people selling this whole collection for like 500 bucks on eBay. So I like the cartoon, but not $500 like. So I'm okay with just a few. Maybe piecemeal, if I'm lucky enough, I will complete the collection, but I'm not going to do it all in one go. So these just, let's get these out of the packaging here. So naturally I don't have the original box, but I imagine they were pretty big based on those photographs. And I also don't know what volumes I have. I just know the figures. Looks like a... Alright, anyway, sorry. Okay, let's look at a wall here. So the wall actually has a nice texture to it. It's interesting. You can see a checkerboard pattern. So they, I don't know, flip-flopped the grain or something to give it more brick-like structure. But I do feel like it would have been smarter if these checkers were a lot smaller. You know, so they look like more like a stone wall or something like that. Alright, so it's got a base here, and it's a smooth plastic. On the bottom, there's nothing there. So how does this go on? Oh, maybe it goes this way. Well, look at it. Let's see. On the back it says HK AOT. That's the licensing approval. There's a peg hole. And I guess this slides in like this. Okay. It's not a top-down thing. It's a slide-back thing. And then you'll see there's a tooth here. And I guess that slides into the corresponding wall pieces here. Let me get these out. They're going to be identical, right? You can just skip fast forward, of course. But I want to make sure everything is here. Well, there's some connector pieces. Alright, so this wall. Upside down. And then connector pieces. So I guess that was a connector piece. So let's look at it from the back now. Probably have to remove this. Alright, so that makes sense. It's just a C-shaped piece of plastic. I did hear it snap. There's a little bit of a snap there. Let's get the last one out. If anyone, you know, that wasn't living under a rock and knew what Attack on Titans when it first came out, if you could leave a comment, when did these monthly figures come out? Like what year? Because I don't see it on the molded piece of plastic there. I'd be curious how old these are. I know that the anime started in 2013, and it may conclude next year, according to Wikipedia, but that's the extent of what I know. So sadly, it seems like I'm missing one of these plastic pieces. So that's unfortunate. Oh well. I could always 3D print one, or just use tape, really. Alright, so it comes with these tiny little stands, similar to what you'd get with like a Figma figure or like a Nendoroid, but just smaller. And it's quite old. I mean, it's rusted. So, granted, I do live in the tropics, so things tend to rust here. Alright, so that one peg hole is where they go. Let's get the figures here. So here well, let's start with the star of the show. That'll be Eren Yeager. And according to this picture, this is volume 11 of the 12. I wonder what the first figure was. Okay. Let me move the camera in closer. Alright, got some better light and unbagged all the other stuff, so you don't have to watch me do that. Okay, let's start from the top here. Well, we got nicely printed eyes. He's got green eyes. eyebrows. The mouth has, white teeth and a little pink in there. There's a little bit of depth in the mouth. The hair is pretty nicely sculpted. It's got brown, just one brown color though. And then we have an old school shirt, like a medieval shirt. It's got little brown buttons, and it's supposed to have like a drawstring or something. Maybe that's what that is, a drawstring. And then the jacket itself has a pretty crudely printed Survey Corps logo. And then a silver bump here for this button. There's a strap going across the shirt with nice silver paint on the buckle. I think these black things are holsters for these things when they're not zipping around. The plastic of the jacket doesn't seem to be painted. I think it's just raw brown plastic. So maybe a matte dull coat would make this look a little nicer. Or I guess maybe it's supposed to be a leather jacket and it's supposed to be shiny. Back here we have a much better Survey Corps logo. Same with on the shirt here because they're simply bigger. Alright, the jacket itself has a lot of waviness there. Yeah, it's just kind of a cheap looking plastic because it's raw. Would have been nice if it was painted, but I imagine a magazine. I don't know what the price of these things were either. If anyone knows the original price of these, was it the cost of just a magazine? Was it like $10 or something? Or was it, 20? I don't know. I did see some online listings for like $20 for one of these things. Alright, so the skin tone is a little bit pink. It's very pink to me. It's not, just look at my skin tone. But anyways, this hand, I don't know, it doesn't want to come out, but clearly this other one did. It's a round peg, which is good because you can get some articulation. And actually, on the end of it, the thing fell off. So it's got, it's really thin wire. Oh boy, it's almost broken. It's literally a copper wire. So that's something to be mindful of. I might have to like crazy glue that, or yeah. I guess when it breaks off, I'll just glue it back on. But yeah, and there it goes. It's a very thin wire. I almost feel like it's too thin. But I guess this isn't really meant to be played with, it's just meant to be put together once and then displayed. So this little grappling hook shooter thing is a metallic, and in the middle it's like a tan color. There's a little hole for the grappling thing to shoot out, and this pegs into the side of the figure. And so here there's a hole. So being a peg, you can articulate it a little bit. Maybe some poster putty will keep that in place better. And then, actually the hand, the hole isn't round. That seems silly. It's like a square. But this hand looks like it is round. So I'm not sure. It definitely can move, which is good. You can pose it different ways. This one, no. Maybe that has a shape in it, and it's just not meant to ever twist. Although I feel like it's free articulation. I'm not sure why they would put shapes in there. Alright, same thing happened to this guy. This thing fell off here. So peg that in. The cables are quite quite long. Okay, moving on. We got the belt here. It's like a brown and then silver for the buckles and slide locks. And then it's like a little brown skirt that they wear. And then the pants are like almost like a light gray. They're not really white. They're not cream colored either though. The shirt's more tan cream. It's just an off light gray, I guess. And then again, the straps here with these silver buckles is pretty nicely done for something like this. And then the boots are this darker brown, same with that little skirt. And then on the bottom of the boots, we have a medium gray, and there's nice treads here in the bottom of for the soles, so that's pretty nice. Okay, there's some black paint here, and yeah, on the back we have some harness details, black, brown. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, so definitely these things are quite loose. Yeah, it's a PVC figure, I think. It's really that flexible stuff. So PVC, when you take things in and out of the peg holes, they just get wider and wider, and so they don't stick anymore. So I've learned this through my Gundams, that it's better to just crazy glue them in, or maybe in this case I'll use some poster putty, which we'll get to later. We might as well look at this vertical maneuver gear, the rest of it here. So this box here, this is the inside, and so this pegs into the thigh. We got this strap here. It doesn't seem to twist though, just in place, a little peg hole. The knife blades, yeah, they're all kind of molded together, which I guess for this scale it makes sense. And then the cylinder is nicely painted aluminum, but oddly the valve doesn't actually go into it. You know, it should be attached to this. Alright, so that's the inside, and then we have these, they're not straps, I guess brackets. They look like brackets holding the things together, the tank and the box. So the box has, like, I think a spring or something, and that helps eject the knife blades out of it. It looks like this box is painted like a metallic. Maybe this is a gunmetal color. Yeah, it's got a shininess to it, or maybe it's the grain of the plastic. Sorry about the focus, but maybe it's just the grain of the plastic. You can see it's clearly two pieces, and yeah, in that case, not the greatest join. Alright, so I'm not trying to handle it too much because, again, these wires are quite delicate. Alright, so this is a mirror image, that side, but they are running the wires into the central area, central mechanism that goes onto the person. So this is like a jet thruster area, and actually it's upside down. So this jet thruster helps propel them through the air, and I believe these are like coiling mechanisms for the grappling wires to coil back and forth and stuff. But for something this small, pretty nice details, bolt details, fin details, a little extra color right there, so pretty cool. Alright. So I'm going to put these all together off camera because the phone's in the way, it's just too difficult. But we'll take a look at here, Armin, I think was his name. And boy, I got to hold this all up so the wires don't get messed up. So Armin's got a pretty angry face going on, like he's gonna go attack, and then he's got some nice blonde hair. It's really yellow hair, decent enough molding. It looks like there's a little maybe dry brushing or something. It's clearly not all the same yellow, I don't think. It looks like there's a little bit of a darker tone down here on the ends of the hair, so that's not a nice touch. The skin tone is the same as the other ones. Pretty much the same outfit, all the same gear. Although, maybe I'm wrong because look at the belt. No, it's just the silver paint on this one is much better. Oh, yeah, and the double buckle. It's a different mold, actually. But, yeah, they look dimensionally different, but design-wise the same. This all looks the same, though. This gear back here. Yeah, the boxes and all that. Alright, the boots, straps. Yeah, I would say the straps are even the same color, but you can see they're differently sized. So, yeah, they're much bigger on Armin. Okay. And the last one would be Mikasa. So all that same gear. But Mikasa here, she's looking off to the side, looking annoyed. And her hair seems to be just one color, but it's really dusty. It's a used toy again. And this one, the hands just have hexagonal holes, which makes sense to me. You'll see there's a little adapter thing for the stand, and the peg goes pretty deep in there. So this one, the gear didn't fall off. I guess it's just hooked onto something inside there. Yeah, alright, so it's just a peg actually. Alright, and then yeah, Cervicore logos, so those are all fine. And I guess the last thing we didn't talk about are the little swords. So, I guess the sword blade, I don't know, no, they are part of the handle molding. They do have the little striations for when they break off. And then you can actually see there's a little air passing between those little finger holds. And then it's got the brake or clutch lever. Seems to be just a gray for the handle and then metallic gunmetal for the blade. It is a separate piece actually. It's not part of the hand. But the hand is actually fully closed. So I guess they must have run the cable through it and then that thing, and then they glued this on the other end or pushed it into a hole here. So that's interesting. Very well. Let me take some time. I'll put these things on the wall, and then we'll do a review of the look at the Colossus. Oh, one last thing I guess you may want to know is the general size of these. Granted, they're all posed differently. Mikasa is around 11 centimeters or 4¼ inches, maybe. Eren overall is around 12 centimeters or almost 5 inches. And then Armin, yeah, he's a little over like 12.5 centimeters and maybe 5 inches even. So I don't know what scale that would be. If I had to guess, well, they're definitely smaller than 1/12 scale, but they're definitely bigger, I think, than 1/18 scale. That's what I don't know. Maybe they are 1/18 scale. I don't know if it's a common. I know that's a common scale, but I'm not sure if that's what they're going for here. Well, anyways, I'll give you the dimensions. You can run some math. But I think these guys are teenagers at this stage in the cartoon, so it's hard to, they're not going to be 2-meter tall men, you know, so it's hard to really guess. And, you know, women are shorter than 2-meter men usually. So, okay, let me come back. Okay, there they are assembled and mounted, and I want to mention a few things here. First, I don't think it's a good idea to use these extensions because these rotate on those, I don't know what those would be called. They're not really a stand because I guess it's part of a stand anyways, so I don't even use them. And then you'll see here, they have straps here in the back, and I was missing 3. So Mikasa doesn't have any straps, and the third one I have is showing on this side of Armin here. I do also want to mention how the back side is assembled. Let me take this guy off. Okay, so I was able to take these off. There's a peg going into the middle part. And the reason why is because there's a hook on this thing, and I think this bar is supposed to go inside the hook of this thing. They weren't really that way when they came in the baggies, so I crazy glued this in place now. And then yeah, this is still able to pivot a little bit. This is just a friction fit. I'm not going to bother gluing it because it seems to be in place. This is a friction fit as well. And then I ended up cutting the cables all in half because they were really not flowing right. They were really scrunched up when they're twice the length. But now with this half length, you know, I can get a much better curve. I didn't bother clipping these though. Only the ones with the swords I ended up cutting in half. Alright, so that's what's going on there. And then yeah, I tightened up some of these things after I figured out where I wanted them to be. Pretty decent tight fit there. I guess you could pose them at an angle like that, but it really depends how much friction you have there. Well, actually, maybe I will leave that. Yeah, if Mikasa's looking that way. Well, see, now the weight of Mikasa. Well, no, it is working. Okay, so that's what I have going on there. Let's talk about the Titan itself here. So the Titan came in 2 parts. Obviously the big giant head. I'm going to back up the camera. Hold on here. That's as far back as I can go. But I think I need to do it because the Titan's going to go behind this thing. So it's pretty wacky looking, you know. It's it's got teeth going way back here, and then it has flesh inside of its skull. So it's human-like, but it's definitely not a human. But I will say it looks like the cartoon. It's a really funky-looking, disturbing creature. This is the Colossal Titan, if you haven't seen the show. And then it came with this stand, and so it just pegs in here. But I gotta say, it's a little bit flimsy. You can see, right? You might want to use poster putty if you want it to be. But I think it actually is maybe intended to lean forward because it's looking into the city. You know, if it was just straight, I guess either way. What I found though is the stand's a little bit weird. You know, you notice these are touching the table. but this is not. This is supposed to rest on the back side of this thing. But I'm not really a fan of it, because I kind of like the idea of making this far or close as I want from the wall. But anyways, for now, I'm just going to try to rest it. I'll rest it back there. Hold on here. I think that's... Nope. It's hard to do when you can't actually see. I think that's good. So yeah, it's kind of peering down. And I'll adjust the camera after I put the hand on. The hand came in 2 pieces. So we have, you know, the majority of it. You know, this is a flat spot on the thumb. And then we have the 4 fingers. And again, a flat spot here. So these just join together. And that flat spot is what rests on the wall. Actually, with the thumb here, it doesn't make sense for it to be there. It's pretty much got to be right on this wall here. Oh, hold on here. I wonder if I should glue that. Okay. Well, for now, it seems to be staying. Let me reposition the camera again. Try to get a lower view. Boy, I don't know if I can. I got a really funky camera mount here. It's a multi-link, but it's not very easy to operate. See, if I get a low angle, I can't actually get far away enough, I don't think. Maybe this is... There's the stand thing, by the way. It's from AliExpress. It's pretty good, but it's very robust, but it's not easy to adjust on the fly, as you're noticing. And then one screw tightens both arms together. Alright, I think I actually managed to get it, so we can look at the Titan and all the figures. Alright, it's not very horizontal, you have to deal with it. So anyways, it's pretty cool. The figures, they're okay, I think. The faces, they're not as good as, you know, retail figures. But I think if they're promo items, they're nice. As a monthly promo item, they're pretty cool. And I think the whole diorama, though, is really awesome. I mean, this... You really gotta go watch the first few episodes of this TV show. I remember I was up until like 5 in the morning watching these continuously. They're supposed to be a 30-minute show, but if you take the credits out and it's probably like 20 minutes, you know, so they're not very long episodes. But the way they end a lot of the episodes, you just want to see the next one. It's such a well-written TV show. It's not for kids at all. This is definitely written for adults. There's no sexual things going on in the thing. It's just all about, you know, surviving. Humanity surviving and fighting these monsters and stuff. Okay, well, anyways, enough with that. So, these are cool. I like this. If I'm lucky enough, eventually I'll try to get all 12 things. So, I think this is 4. But there's 8 other pieces or volumes that were issued. And who knows, maybe that'll take another 10 years to happen, but whatever. Thank you for watching. Take care. See you in the next figure video.